The world seemed to stop the moment the little girl lifted her tear-filled eyes toward the billionaire and whispered those impossible words. "Please, don't adopt me. Adopt my mom instead." Henry Caldwell, one of the wealthiest and most feared businessmen in the country, had heard every kind of plea in boardrooms, courtrooms, and political chambers. But never this. Never from a child no older than 10, sitting in a worn-out wheelchair with wheels so shaky they trembled whenever she breathed. And yet, here she was. And here he was, unable to move, unable to speak, unable to breathe. The girl WHO never asked for help. Lila Reyes wasn't the type of child who complained. She never asked the universe why her. Never cursed the accident that had crushed her spine 3 years earlier. And she definitely never asked her single mother, Marisol, to work any less even though she wished every night that she could. But today wasn't about her. It was about the eviction notice still taped to their apartment door. It was about her mom's trembling hands when she thought Lila was asleep. It was about the mountain of medical debt and the part-time jobs that paid pennies. It was about the storm that had turned their world upside down. And it was about the stranger who had appeared like lightning in that same storm, Henry Caldwell. The billionaire was visiting one of his company's outreach programs when a metal beam collapsed inside the nearly abandoned building. Lila, who had been pushed inside by a careless manager promising free food boxes, was trapped. Everyone ran, everyone except her mother and Henry. He saved them both. And today, 2 weeks later, he'd shown up at their temporary shelter saying words that made no sense. "I want to adopt your daughter. I can give her everything she needs. Luxury hospitals, world-class therapies, education, stability, everything they had begged the universe for." But Lila had seen her mom step back, hand over heart, face draining of color. She had seen the billionaire mistake that reaction for hesitation, not heartbreak. So Lila did the unthinkable. She gathered every ounce of courage she had, lifted her face, and said, "Please don't adopt me. Adopt my mom instead." The billionaire WHO had everything but peace. Henry looked at the girl's tiny hands clutching the armrest of her wheelchair as if holding herself together. "Adopt her mother." He swallowed hard. "Why would you say that, sweetheart?" Lila's voice cracked. "Because my mom needs someone to take care of her too. She works all the time, she barely sleeps, sometimes she doesn't eat so I can. I'm not the only one who needs help." Marisol grabbed her daughter's shoulders, horrified. "Lila, no, don't say that, this is not." But Lila continued, crying but determined. "I don't want to be the reason she loses everything. If you take me, she'll be alone. And I don't want a rich life if it means she gets a poor one." Henry had seen courage, but nothing like this. Marisol broke down, kneeling beside her daughter. "You are my heart, Lila. I would never let you go." And Henry realized then. He wasn't standing in front of someone asking for a miracle. He was standing in front of someone begging not to be saved at the cost of someone else. He looked at mother and daughter, and for the first time in years, his heart cracked open. The impossible problem. Henry tried to help them in the way he understood: money. A new apartment, a new job, better equipment. But Marisol refused almost everything. "It's not charity," she said politely but firmly. "It's pride. I wasn't raised to take what I didn't earn." She accepted only enough to replace Lila's broken wheelchair and some therapy sessions. Nothing more. Henry was stunned. Millions begged him daily for a fraction of what she turned down. That's when he realized this wasn't just poverty, it was dignity fighting to survive. But he couldn't stop thinking about the girl's plea. "Adopt my mom instead. Adopt my mom." For the first time he wondered, could I help them without taking anything away? Could I lift them without making them feel small? The challenges they faced. Challenge 1. Medical bills that grew faster than hope. Lila's therapy required long-term commitment. Insurance covered almost nothing. The shelter allowed only 3 more weeks. Challenge 2. Marisol's job instability. Her main job at a restaurant had cut her hours. Her night cleaning shift was too far, unsafe, and required her to leave Lila with strangers. Challenge 3. Henry's reputation. The world saw him as cutthroat, ruthless, cold. No one believed he cared. Any involvement with the Reyes family risked the media blowing things out of proportion. Challenge 4. Their fear of losing each other. Every solution seemed to pull mother and daughter apart, not unite them. Henry wanted to fix everything, but he needed a solution that wouldn't destroy the thing that made this small family extraordinary, their love. The mom WHO refused to break. One night, Henry stopped by their shelter unannounced and found Marisol outside, silently crying. She quickly wiped her tears. "Mr. Caldwell, I'm sorry, you shouldn't see me like this. You don't have to apologize for being human," he said gently. Marisol shook her head. "I can survive anything, but I don't want my daughter to grow up watching me crumble." Henry's chest tightened. "What if," he began carefully, "I help you stand, rather than catching you as you fall?" She looked confused. He continued, "Not adoption. Not charity. A partnership." But Marisol laughed skeptically. "What could I possibly offer you?" He smiled softly. "Strength, humanity, and the chance to do something good in the right way." For a moment, she just stared at him. Then she asked the question that changed everything. "What did you have in mind?" The unexpected offer. Henry hired Marisol, not out of pity, but because she was exactly what his foundation needed. A community coordinator. A voice for families living the struggles he wanted to solve. A woman who had survived what others only read about. And he hired her at a fair, competitive, professional salary. No strings. No conditions. No separation. For the first time in years, Marisol felt the ground under her feet. And for the first time in years, Henry felt he had done something real. A new beginning, but not without pain. Progress was slow. Therapies hurt. Schedules clashed. Media noticed. People whispered. Some accused Marisol of manipulating the billionaire. Others accused Henry of using her story for sympathy points. But through it all, Lila remained the sun in their cloudy sky. "Mom," she said one day as they headed to the clinic, "do you think Mr. Caldwell is lonely?" Marisol hesitated. "Yes, Mija. I think some people have everything except someone to come home to." "Maybe we can be his family," Lila said simply. Marisol froze. She wouldn't let her child hope for something impossible. But Lila had already decided. The moment everything changed. Months passed. Lila's mobility improved little by little. Her laughter returned. Her cheeks filled out. And Henry became a constant presence. One evening, after a successful fundraiser for underprivileged families, Lila tugged his sleeve. "Mr. Caldwell, can I ask you something?" He knelt so they were eye level. "Anything." She smiled shyly. "Do you still want to adopt someone?" Henry blinked. That was a mistake. I was trying to help the wrong way." Lila grinned. "Well, I want you to adopt someone now." "Who?" She pointed at her mother, who was busy packing pamphlets. "My mom. But adopt her. Into your life. Not legally. Just, don't let her be lonely. She doesn't say it, but she needs someone too." Henry felt the world tilt. Marisol overheard and spun around, mortified. "Lila." She covered her face, blushing furiously. But Henry only smiled. "Maybe," he said softly, "I need someone too." The new family they never expected. Their bond grew slowly, delicately, built on respect, gratitude, and shared dreams. Henry never replaced Lila's father. He never pushed for anything beyond what Marisol was comfortable with. But he showed up. Every appointment, every late-night emergency, every school meeting, every tear, every triumph. One afternoon, Lila took Henry's hand and said, "You know, you kind of adopted us both." Henry squeezed her fingers. "Or maybe," he whispered, "you two adopted me." The message they left the world. A year later, at a public event for families overcoming poverty, Marisol stood on stage, holding her daughter's hand and speaking through tears. "People think the greatest help is money," she said softly. "But sometimes the greatest help is being seen, being believed in, being treated with dignity. We didn't need rescuing. We needed a chance." She looked at Henry in the crowd, no longer a distant billionaire but a part of their life. "He gave us that chance. And we gave him something too." The audience leaned in. "A family." Lila wheeled forward and added with a wide, proud smile. "And just so everyone knows, I told him not to adopt me. I told him to adopt my mom." Laughter rippled through the room. Then applause. Long, thunderous, heartfelt. The inspiring ending. Their story spread across the world, not as a tale of charity, but of compassion meeting courage, of a mother's strength, a child's love, and a man rediscovering humanity. They proved that help doesn't have to break pride. That family isn't always about blood. And that sometimes, the smallest voices speak the bravest truths. Especially the voice of a little wheelchair girl who once whispered, "Please don't adopt me, adopt my mom instead."